Hey, this is Andrew Jones. You watch On Deck with Tyler.
Hey guys, Mike Fullnever's here. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Hi, this is Phil Newcomb. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
This is Walk the Banks. I'm on deck with Tyler Redmond.
Welcome into On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell for notifications so you can be notified every time I drop something new. And it's been a very eventful weekend for the Braves as they have been taking on the Philadelphia Phillies in Philadelphia. The first game was, of course, canceled for rain delay, and, of course, they had the doubleheader yesterday. So we're going to do a recap of all three games and give you a look ahead for tonight's game, the final game against the Phillies. So, game one, it was Kyle Wright versus Jake Arrieta. The Braves' offense was quiet, only scoring 4 hits here, 2 of which were actually hit by Adeiny Hechavarria, of all people. So the Phillies were quiet through 3 innings, but Kyle Wright once again struggled in that 4th inning. And Realmuto led off the 4th with a 427-foot homer, 1-0 Phillies. Didi Gregorius would single, he would steal second, and get to third on a bad throw by Travis d'Arnaud. Segura would walk, so with runners on first and third, Jay Bruce would come up and he would hit a 422-foot homer, 4-0 Phillies. And this is about the time that the Braves would usually pull Kyle Wright, pull him out of the game. For the first 2 starts, that's exactly what happened. But instead, this time they elected to keep him in and let him work through it. And to be honest with you, I like this move. I like letting a pitcher work through it, especially a young pitcher, because we know he's got the stuff. We know he's got the stuff in the minors, and we know he's got the stuff through the first 3 innings. He's got to get past that I think just one time. And that's what he did. It was an 11-pitch bad stretch, but after that he was perfectly fine. He ended up making it through 6 innings, which is something that we've all sort of been hoping to see. Of course, he gave up 4 earned runs, but it's really just a bad inning, and that's very unfortunate for him. But he battled through. After those 4 runs, Kingery would ground out, Hasely would line out, and McCutchen would fly out. The last run by the Phillies would be scored in the bottom of the 8th, given up by Grant Dayton. In that inning, Harper would lead it off with a double to right field. He would be moved to third base when Realmuto flied out to center. Gregorius would bring him in with a single, 5-0 Phillies. And again, I thought all in all this wasn't that bad of a game. Of course, it was a shutout. The offense was slow. And if you casually looked at this, just the score, you would think the Braves got blown out. And that's not wrong. But we did get something out of it, and that is valuable experience for Kyle Wright, a chance for him to work through struggles and a chance to just work longer in a game. And I really like that. I think that it's time to see if he can sink or swim. And I thought he adapted the other day, and he responded well. But also, and I don't typically do this, you will never see me go after an umpire. I don't like to do that. But the umpiring behind the plate was almost blatant. And I know that Jake Arrieta established that outside corner in the game, and if you want to call it the outside corner, it's more like the outer half of the other batter's box. And Kyle Wright just didn't get those calls, and I don't want to ever come after an umpire, and I'm not going to do that here, but it was the circumstances. I do think that contributed to how slow the offense was in this game. But on paper, the Braves still lost 5-0. But you can tell me it's a bad game. I thought Kyle Wright just had a bad inning, and hopefully we'll see better out of him next time. But moving on to game 2, this is where things started to get interesting. After that rain delay on Friday, a doubleheader was scheduled for Sunday. This is game 2 of the series and game 1 of the day. Oscar Inoa would get the start for the Braves, and that turned a lot of eyes. A lot of people just assumed Bryce Wilson. Heck, I assumed Bryce Wilson would get the start here. But Oscar Inoa would get the start, and Velasquez would take the mound for the Phils. So the Braves really needed a W here if they wanted to win the series, which they still do. And we've all heard about the possibility of a bullpen game, and that's exactly what this was. Inoa pitched 2 1/3 innings, and that's basically what the Braves wanted out of him. They wanted 2 or 3 innings, and that's what he gave them. He only gave up a hit, 1 earned run, a walk, and got a strikeout. That run coming in the 3rd inning. Inoa did get into some trouble early in the inning. Walker would single to left. Quinn would line out and Knapp would walk. So with 1 out and runners on first and second, McCutchen would come to the plate. Tyler Matzik would come in after this struggle, hopefully keeping runs off the board. That would not be the case. Runners would advance on a wild pitch, and McCutchen would ground out to third, but scoring Walker in the process. 1-0 Phillies. Matzik would then walk Hoskins, and Harper would come up to the plate. Runners at the corners. What a dangerous spot to be in. But Matzik would strike Harper out swinging. He would come in the 4th inning too. In total, he would pitch 1 2/3. He'd give up 1 hit, but would walk 2, and he'd pick up a strikeout. that strikeout being none other than Bryce Harper. Moving down to the top of the fifth, Braves down 1-0. Flowers would lead off with a single. Inciarte would pop out to third base. Acuna, with a runner at first, would hit a 368-foot long ball in the Philadelphia bandbox. That would score he and Flowers. 2-1 Braves. Swanson would come up, and he's needed some offense as of late. He would single. Phillies would take Velasquez out. Freeman comes up to the plate. He would then single. Runners on first and second for Marcell Ozuna. Adam Duvall would come up, and he would hit a double with the bases loaded, and he would clear the bases, scoring Swanson, Freeman, and Ozuna. 5-1 Braves. That would be enough for the Braves to take Game 2 of the series. The Phillies would score another run on a McCutchen sac fly in the fifth inning, but with only 7 innings in a game with doubleheader rules this season, there wasn't enough time for it to be a real scare for the Braves. So, with the series tied up, let's go into Game 3. With Fried on the mound, this is as confident as you can be if you're a Braves fan in 2020 today. Especially in 7 innings. You like the fact that Max Fried's on the mound for you. It would be Spencer Howard, who's actually a rookie. This would be his debut for the Phillies. And both offenses were quiet through 2 innings. Fried did get into a little bit of a pickle in the first, but got out of it clean. And moving into the top of the third, Camargo would lead off by lining out to left. Acuna Jr. would single to left field. Swanson grounded out, but moved Acuna to second on a fielder's choice. Freeman would bring out what we haven't seen from him in a little while now. A 363-foot homer, scoring he and Swanson. 2-0 Braves. And if you are a longtime Braves fan, this is kind of rewarding, and here's why. If you remember Jason Hayward, this game was on his birthday, and Freddie Freeman told Jason that he's going to hit a homer for him since Jason couldn't play. And then sure enough, he did it. So I thought that was a very interesting note. This was just the beginning of the offense for the Braves, though. Moving down to the 5th inning, Acuna led off with another homer. This one, 377 feet, 3-0 Braves. Swanson would line out to follow. Then Freddie Freeman would go ahead and hit a triple. He hit for the cycle throughout the day. Unfortunately, it was in 2 separate games, but nonetheless, Freddie would triple. Ozuna would strike out swinging, and with 2 outs, d'Arnaud would double to deep left, scoring Freddie. 4-0 Braves. But we got to move into the 6th inning now with 2 outs and Riley at first base. Acuna, oh my goodness, would come up again. And yeah, that's right, folks. He hit another one. He hit his 3rd homer on the day, 2nd in the game. 369 foot, scoring 2 runs. And to think, just the other day, I was thinking to myself, man, Acuna's only got 1 homer. When is he going to heat up? Then he went and did it. So that would make it 6-0 Braves, and that would bring in Davis to pitch. He would have a runner on with 2 outs looking to get out of further trouble. He would not be so lucky. The first batter would be Freddie Freeman. He would double, scoring Swanson. 7-0 Braves. Ozuna would single, scoring Freddie Freeman. 8-0 Braves, and that would be the final score of the game. So what a day for Ronald Acuna. 3 homers on the day, 2 in 1 game, and he certainly needed a day like that. So also, what a game for Freddie, right? You hit for the cycle throughout the day. You have a triple, you have a homer, and what a day for both of those guys. But the Braves, at this point in the series, were leading the Phillies 2-1, and now we got to talk about yesterday. Game 4 of the series, Sean Newcomb versus Aaron Nola, and I actually put out a poll on my community page. By the way, if you don't ever look at the community page, it is a new thing I've gotten ever since I've reached 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. But I will post every day almost when I'm going to drop a video, a poll, something to get you talking, some Braves conversation for you there. So check that out. But I did post this poll last night before the game, and it was, how are we feeling about Sean Newcomb tonight? Are we confident or are we skeptical? And I think this poll's result shows you how we've all sort of felt when Newcomb's getting the start. And it's not really a knock on Newcomb. It's just, it's what we've seen on the field lately. And I completely agree with this poll. Newcomb really needed to see another day of just improvements. Maybe getting to a quality start. Maybe giving us something like Tuki Toussaint did the other day. That did not happen. He hit trouble really early on. In the first inning, Gosselin led off with a single. Hoskins would single. Runners at the corners. You got Bryce Harper would hit a 3-run bomb on you in the first inning, and it was just downhill from there. Eventually, the Braves brought in Robbie Erlin, and he didn't have any better luck. Didi Gregorius took him deep for a grand slam. That was his first batter of the game. So really just the pitching for the Braves last night was rough. I think we can all agree there. It looked like going into the ninth, the Braves are going to be down 13-1 to end the ballgame. That did not happen. The Braves eventually did put up some offense after Aaron Nola came out. And it's important to note here that Nola was lights out last night. So if you want to blame the offense, don't really think you can here. I mean, he was just lights out. I wish the pitching had kept us in the game because the Braves did put up 8 runs, and we're about to go through them individually real quick. So the first run was Travis d'Arnaud in the second inning versus Nola. The second run was all the way in the ninth inning. Camargo would hit a homer. And then it would be Inciarte reaching base on an infield single, Hechavarria reaching base on an infield single, Charlie Culberson, which really good to see him have playing time. I want to see more of Charlie Culberson on the field. He would double to deep left. That scored a run 13-3. Ozuna would hit a sac fly to center, scoring 1, 13-4. d'Arnaud would double, scoring Culberson 13-5. Markakis actually doubled. That would be his 500th double in his career. Congratulations to Nick Markakis. And what a time to do it. 13-6 Braves. And it's a shame that the Phillies pulled Pivetta because the Braves were really seeing that fastball well. Kelly would come in for the Phillies, really giving Girardi a workout in the bullpen. He would strike out Duvall for the second out before giving a 430-foot homer to none other than Austin Riley, who really needs to heat up. That would make the score 13-8. That would be the final score. And if you didn't see it, Newcomb was, of course, optioned to the alternative training site after the game last night. Not really a surprise. I think we all sort of saw that one coming. It will be interesting to see how the Braves go about finding another starter and replacing him in the starting rotation. All the headlines are going to be this right here. Could they bring up Ian Anderson? Well, let me ask you this. Could they bring up Tucker Davidson? Could they bring up Bryce Wilson? I think the Braves are certainly having those conversations right now. I think you could see Newcomb and Foltynewicz again this season. Yeah, I think you could see Newcomb and Foltynewicz again this season. I really do. Because it's not unforeseen that those guys go down to the minors and come back and are on their game. So we got to wait to see about that. But for right now, we are stretched thin. There is no doubt about it. We are stretched thin in the starting rotation. Tookie and Kyle Wright continue to improve, especially Tookie. I mean, good Lord, he's looking good right now. But even with them, that's only 3 starters. 3 solidified starters, if you want to include Kyle Wright in that list. So that is Max Fried, Tookie Toussaint, and Kyle Wright. Other than that, we don't have starting 2 until Cole Hamels gets back, or Felix Hernandez opts back in, or they put Josh Tomlin in that role. So I would think you have to go get Bryce Wilson, or you have to go get somebody out of the minors. So maybe the Braves go to a 4-man rotation. Maybe Tomlin has a start or 2. But there is no doubt that the Braves are stretched thin in starting pitching. Ultimately, they did split the series with Philadelphia, but with better pitching, they probably would have won it. I just hope that doesn't happen in the postseason. So, in terms of bringing someone up, let's go ahead and discuss it. Bryce Wilson, Tucker Davidson, and Ian Anderson. I think it all depends on whether or not the Braves make a move at the trade deadline or before the trade deadline. That way, you don't waste an option and bringing somebody up and sending them back down. I think they could go and get someone like a Robbie Ray from the Diamondbacks. And I've mentioned Robbie Ray before, and a lot of people go look at that 9 ERA and get turned off immediately. And they give me grief in the comment section. But I think he has enough experience to bring something to a contender. He's not really on a contender right now. That does make a difference. Changes scenery. We've all heard that before. I think he could come and be an impact player for the Braves. I think the Braves could certainly go get him. I'm going to throw this out there. What about Johnny Cueto? He's looking healthy again. The reason that this is appealing, the reason that I think this could happen is because the Braves and Giants have made a deal before in recent years. Mark Melancon came from the Giants. This could, help out both teams if this was to happen. So, Cueto's ERA is at 5.4, and the Giants could certainly sell pretty soon. I mean, they're in a division with the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Rockies, who are all competitors and are all postseason bound. So, I think that could happen, but there are others. There is, of course, Mike Minor from Texas and Lance Lynn from Texas. And we all know this guy, Mike Minor, former Brave. .689 ERA on the year, but it's looking like it's going to come down to about a career average of around 3. So this is depending on how the Rangers do over the next couple of weeks. So if you want Mike Minor to be a Brave, you really need to root against the Rangers over the next couple of weeks, so they'll be sellers at the deadline. But today, let's focus on today. Today, the Braves take on the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, which is something that doesn't happen too often, and that will certainly be a fun series. It's only a 2-game series. Touki Toussaint will be taking the mound, and in theory, our bullpen will be taking the mound on the next game. So that will be a great series. I can't wait to see how we pitch against them. I think the Yankees are a really good test for the Braves pitching staff. We all have seen Aaron Judge tear it up lately. I think he's got like 9 or 10 homers already. So that will definitely be a fun series. And then the Braves take on the Miami Marlins. So I can't wait for that series personally. I hope the Braves can get some separation and be in first place by the end of that series. So hopefully that'll happen. Make sure you watch the game tonight against the Yankees. Make sure you comment down below. Tell me, you know what, this is what I want to know from you guys. Tell me which guy you're most excited about that is currently in the minor league system that is a starting pitcher. Bryce Wilson, Ian Anderson, Tucker Davidson. Let me know what you think in the comment section about that. Also, make sure you like this video so that more Braves fans can find it. And make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date with everything going on. As always, I appreciate you watching this video. Stay tuned for the recap of tonight's game tomorrow morning, and I'll get that to you as soon as I can. And stay tuned for what we have going on here at On Deck.